Okay, looks like we're on. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 St. Genevieve County Candidate Forum. We're glad to have all of our candidates here in the both primary and the general election race here of our county commission seated before us. The counties, and welcome to our public viewing audience here and all of those of you at home. So thank you for being with us. We are in the St. Genevieve City Council chambers this evening, despite this being a county event, because it was available and because it's new and because it's well set up for what we're conducting here this evening. The county's 2 associate commission seats are elected every 4 years, falling on the presidential election year. The presiding commissioner is elected every 4 years on those intervening even years, with that next race being in 2026. So this year, here in St. Genevieve County, we are electing the 2 associate commissioners this year. And I don't think that I told you that I'm Bill Nager, and I am here as the host and facilitator, mostly the timekeeper this evening, is what my purpose is. And I will be throwing some questions at these folks in a few minutes. But first, let's introduce who we have in front of us. We have the room is set up with the District 1 commissioners on the left-hand side of the room and the District 2 commissioners on the right side of the desk here, with beginning at the beginning, Karen Stupi, our incumbent commissioner, is being challenged in District 1 in the Democratic primary by Robert Nugent. And the winner of that race then will face the Republican challenger in the Republican side in the general election, Corey Ford, in November. On the other side of the table, in District 2, we have the incumbent commissioner, Mark Marbury, is being challenged in the August primary by in the Republican primary by Kenny Williams. And the winner of that contest will then face Democrat Brent Guile in November. So there we have the lineup, and we are going to let each of these candidates tell us a little bit about themselves, use the next 3 minutes of the evening to tell you about themselves. So with that, Karen Stupi, would you like to begin for us, please?
Do I need the microphone?
Nope, it's on you.
Okay. My name is Karen Stupi. I'm your current 1st District Commissioner. I've been in county government for 17 years now. I've worked 13 years in the county clerk's office as a deputy county clerk and 4 years as a current commissioner. I feel like I've delivered on my promise as far as progress with our county roads and bridges. We widened Roth Road entrance. We repaved Lawrence and Cutoff Road. We put box culverts in on Ditch Road, Misplay Road, and Coker Road. I've handled the issues with the cable companies, the debacle that we had with property owners. I answered their phone calls. I did on-site visits. I followed up with property owners as far as the cleanup of their property. I'm currently married to Scott Stupi. We've been married for 37 years. I have 2 adult grown children, Samantha and Lee. I'm the daughter of Norman and Shirley Follert. Scott is the son of Ed and Minerva Stupi. I was raised in a blue-collar family. I'm not afraid to work. I've taken on a hands-on approach to my current position as associate commissioner. I've pulled weeds up at the fairgrounds. I've helped paint projects up there at the fairgrounds. I've scrubbed toilets. I've mopped floors. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I'm also the liaison for the Fair Board, the University of Missouri Extension, secretary for the CMO Commissioners Group, member of the TAC for the City of St. Genevieve. I attend these meetings on a monthly basis, and the majority of them are in the evening. I have volunteered my time within the community and continue to do that. I have treated my position as a full-time position. I go in the office daily unless I have a meeting out of town or we're at our training conference. I don't have a side gig. This is my job. I will continue to work with the IDC, the Chamber, the City of St. Genevieve on a possible subdivision on Progress Parkway. I want to work on bringing some retail stores that we must move forward in order for our community to be a vibrant economic community. If we all work together, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. I'm also in favor of the county transient bed tax to help with tourism, to promote our beautiful county and the many amenities our county has to offer, our wineries, our conservation areas, our state park, our community center complex. Tourism is economic development. Local residents would not have to pay this tax unless they stay at the hotel or an Airbnb if they stay overnight. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying this tax. So basically, I think I'm finished.
Well done. Thank you very much, Karen, for that. So with that, we'll move on to your challenger, Robert Nugent, in the District 1 primary race. So give me a second here, Bob, to reset my phone, and on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3, sir.
I've lived in St. Genevieve County since 1961. My wife, my 2 sons, Chris and Corey, and myself, we graduated from St. Genevieve High School. I was employed at Mississippi Lime for 19 years, served as a safety man and second vice president of the community center, of the Steelworkers Union. I left the lime kiln and went to work for our political party. I had many seats in our local Democratic committee, clubs, and organizations, and I belong to the Elks. I've got involved with the community center actually back in 1996. I was on the original steering committee, and when I went down to see what was going on with it, I just fell in love with the idea. I thought it was a great idea. And I've been on that board now for 26 years as vice president. And I believe in the community center, and I think we need to do whatever we can to save it. And that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're fine then with that? Very good. I'm going to just on pause. And with that, depending on the outcome of the race here in the primary between these 2 folks, they will be facing Republican Corey Ford in the general election, which is going to be November 5th. Is that correct? Everybody here? That's what I think I have. So anyway, you can correct me if that's the wrong date about the general. The primaries, by the way, folks, are coming up August the 6th, so it's just around the corner. That's why you're watching this program, so that you can get familiar with candidates. So if we move on to Corey Ford for your 3 minutes, sir, you can start now.
My name is Corey Ford. I grew up in Imperial Barnhart area. I went to Marine Corps right out of high school, spent 5 years in there. And when I got out, all the farms I grew up working on were subdivisions. So that's where I landed here. And I've been here since 1997. My wife and I have been married going on 21 years now. We've got two sons that just graduated high school. And I've started my own business in 2002, construction and excavating company. I've owned and operated that ever since then. I have over 30 years of experience in construction, road and bridge, everything from residential to heavy highway. I built bridge and road for the county, and that's, in my opinion, that the commission lacks experience in construction. And if 50% of your job is construction, road and bridge, you need construction experience on the commission. And that's why I'm running. And I will support the Sheriff's Department 100% and the community center 100%. These are vital parts of our community. And I will search for retail because obviously we need more retail in this county. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. All right, so that covers the District 1 candidates. We'll move over to District 2 now. And for his opening remarks, we call on Republican incumbent Mark Marbury. Mark, so the floor is yours, sir.
I was appointed in the beginning of, the last of 2022, the beginning of 2023 by Governor Mike Parsons, came out as county commissioner. It was an unexpired term for 2 years. Basically, what happened was the presiding commissioner, Gary Nelson, retired. My commissioner, Randy Ruzicka, ran for the seat as presiding commissioner and won it. And as a result, that term was unexpired and left open for 2 years. So that was why I was appointed to that. And of course, now when it ends, I have to either decide to run for it or not. Previous to that, I leveraged almost 4 years as an award-winning newspaper reporter. I extensively covered local government, and it has worked quite well for me to be effective very quickly as commissioner. Before I even became commissioner, I had hundreds of hours of interviews, conversations with officials in cities and the two counties, St. Genevieve and St. Francis County. So I kind of hit the ground running, so to speak, as a result. A lifelong resident of St. Genevieve County, I do not live in St. Francis County. People seem to think that. I have never lived in St. Francis County. Fifth generation on the farm I live on. It's owned by my family since 1902. Trained in the Skywarn Weather Spotter program. Currently I was the St. Genevieve County Coordinator for the Missouri GOP in 2018, and the County Coordinator for the first campaign for Representative Dale Wright, and a past Secretary of the St. Genevieve County Republican Club. I currently serve as Floodplain Manager for St. Genevieve County and liaison to the St. Genevieve Community Center and liaison to the New Bourbon Regional Port Authority. I've had extensive experience in the past in designing and drafting with architects and engineers that includes civil work, architecture, buildings, road design, and various different types of structures. Yeah.
Finished sentence. Okay, thank you very much. With that then, we move to the District 2 challenger, which is Kenny Williams. Kenny, you have 33 minutes. I'm sorry, not 33
3 minutes?
Not 33 minutes.
Bill, I'm gifted like you on talking, so thank you for that much time. My name is Kenny Williams. I actually have a St. Mary mailing address, but I live in the Ozora area. My parents' name was Floyd and Shirley Williams, and I married a Bloomsdale girl, Donna Kurtz, and we've been married since November the 5th, 1977, which is election day. I got to be out there on election day doing things that are not good for an anniversary, but we will make it work. We have 4 grown children, and our oldest son decided he liked the culture of Japan. He moved to Japan 2 years ago, and he's living over there and teaching the English language to the Japanese people over there. And he will be coming back for a visit in August the 1st, and we're excited about that. But over the years, my dad was in the, had bulldozers and done excavation, and I followed his footsteps and expanded the company. And I did a lot of soil conservation work, prevented erosion, and learned so many things on water runoff and water stabilization. I'm also went to get approved for on-site septic systems and met with soil scientists over the years. And throughout our county, there's different grades of soil all through our county. There's some places where water actually, where you want a road, will come up from the bottom and make its way into the road. So it makes it a challenge, and a person has to understand the soil. And I got invited to be an auxiliary member of the Soil and Water a few years back, and I organized the largest waste tar collection in Missouri to this date. The DNR said, Kenny, if all of these would have been car tires based on the weight of what they hauled off, it would have been 84,000 tires that come out of people's barns and gullies and things like that that was hauled off. The Missouri Department of Corrections up in Jeff City had trailer trucks come down here. We'd load them in them, and the prisoners in Jeff City worked up these tires into usable stuff. So that was quite an experience and a lot of volunteer time. I took a fire safety program through the RCMD with the Soil and Water, which we done the waste tar program. I'm the president of the Great River Road Camp of the Gideons, and we make sure that the hotels have Bibles. Only 30 seconds left. Boy, come on, Bill. Anyhow, I'm good for this job. I know what's going on. I've been here for years. I work for many people throughout the county in excavation, and you know of my integrity and my ability to get things done.
You got 12 more seconds.
12 more seconds. So vote for Kenny on the 6th, and we will make a difference in this county.
All right.
Thanks, Bill.
Moving on. So in this District 2 contention, depending on who wins in the primary here, they will face Democrat Brent Guile. Brent, you got 3 minutes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My name is Brent Guile. I was born and raised in St. Genevieve and will always be here. Like I said, a lifelong resident. I have 2 grown children, Amanda and Nathan. They are both St. Gen County residents as well. Married to Christine Fallert Guile for 36 years. I worked at Mississippi Lime for 26 years. 18 of those years I worked in the mines, running equipment and working on roads and such. And 6 years I worked outside on maintenance, where I attended Rankin Industrial College up in St. Louis and graduated from there in 2010 with a industrial maintenance degree. And then, like I said, I went on maintenance out there working on their maintenance stuff. Very supportive of the community center. I think that's a key to the youth of here, and definitely need to preserve that. I feel if I was elected, I'm a fast learner to this job. Also forgot my parents were Junior and Sally Guile, both lifelong residents here, and my dad was owner of a restaurant and bar in St. Gen County. I'm a member of the LJCs, St. Gen KCs, and Little Saline Sportsman's Club in Ozora. I have many friends in St. Gen County, which I think will help with this job, knowing the people of the county well. It sure helped me when I worked. Oh, I also worked with MoDOT for 6 years, working on roads and bridges and things like that. But and I'm just going to say I would be honored and proud to be the District 2 Commissioner if you choose to elect me. Thank you.
All right then, Brent. Thank you, sir, for those, and thank all 6 of you for those opening comments. Folks, do we move now on to the questions, 5 questions that we have for you, just for the listening public here and viewing public. St. Genevieve Herald compiled these questions. The candidates are totally blind on this. They haven't had any clue about what we're about to ask them. I only received this list about an hour ago. So we have just decided to present these questions from we've got some very pointed and specific questions for you all. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to address that. Please try to stay on topic, address the question if you will. And then we're going to move to some more general questions towards the end. And then at the end, after the 5 questions, everybody's had a chance to do that for this next segment. Then at the very end of the evening, we'll have a wrap, and each candidate will have a 2-minute section to just come back with anything that you care to say and close up with. And I think I'm going to give everybody except Kenny 2 minutes and 12 seconds to keep the playing field level here. So we'll do 2 minutes and 12 seconds for everybody else, and because I reminded Kenny that he had 12 extra seconds, and I want to keep this thing fair and square, right?
Sounds good.
Sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
All right. So question number 1 is going to go to District 1 incumbent Democrat Karen Stupi. This question is for all of you. There's been a lot of discussion already this evening, I think, about this. Considerable discussion has arisen over the commissioner's handling of the Community Center Board. How much autonomy should the County Commission allow the appointed and the elected boards, such as the Community Center Board, the Fair Board, Senate Bill 40 Board, etc., under its umbrella? How much autonomy should the county commission allow?
Well, I want them to have, as a board, they are to oversee the budgets and make the decisions. And the only time that we have intervened when we feel like there is some issues or problems with certain areas that, especially with the financing, when we personally got involved with the different things that were going on concerning the community center and its finances. And also, as far as the Fair Board, that was something we reorganized due to the structure of the board and actually not knowing exactly what's going on, I guess, within the fairgrounds as far as the property was concerned and attending their meetings and such. So as far as the community center, I mean, we did not intervene until we were started looking at the finances and things that were happening within that facility. So that was actually how it was, we kind of intervened with that. So I'm finished.
Okay. Okay, so we'll pass the same question to you. Would you like me to repeat it, Bob?
Yeah, please.
Okay. How much autonomy should the county commission allow the appointed and the elected boards, such as the community, allow to the appointed and elected boards, such as the Community Center Board, the Fair Board, the Senate Bill 40 Board? How much autonomy should the county commission allow?
Our board's been intact for almost 26 years. Well, we've never had been treated like we have with this these commissioners. As far as our budget, we make up our budget and it goes to them. They either approve it or they don't approve it. And when they approve it and then they still complain about it, I don't know what to say to that. We had, let's see, I think together with our board, we've probably had about 100 years of experience on that community center, and we know how to run it. It was never meant that it would support itself, but it was always going to have some kind of tax to do that. The average community center recovers about 24.9% of 24.6% of its money. Our community center recovers about 61%. And we try to do everything we can to make sure that everything runs smooth. And most of the time, our gyms are booked up anywhere from 3 months to 6 months. And I don't mind if they come in and want to give suggestions and everything, but they come in and act like they're total bosses and we don't know anything. I'm done.
All right, thank you for your comment, sir. We will ask the same question of Corey Ford.
Could you repeat the question?
I sure can.
Thank you.
How much autonomy should the county commission allow the appointed and elected boards of the community center?
Well, I believe if things are running smoothly, like it seemed like they were, and I've talked to a lot of people in and around the board, and the community center, every time I drive by that, it's crowded. There's people there. It's working. Okay. So being a business owner, I've had people I've hired people to be in in different responsible positions, and I don't micromanage. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, then there's no reason for me to even step in, okay? And this is an elected position also. So I truly believe in letting the people be the deciding factor on that. If they don't like what's going on, then they can change that as election. I'm finished, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir, for your comments. So we move across the table here to the District 2. Mark Marbury. Mark, you have 2 minutes.
Same question.
Sure, yes, absolutely. Everybody's addressing the
Sure.
question here. I'll be happy to repeat it if you...
No, there's no need.
Okay. Oh,
The problem with the autonomy of the board is, when it comes down to it, audits which happen are done in the courthouse. And the responsibility for those audits are based upon us elected officials. That board doesn't answer to audits. That's a problem. And, budgets, when I started as liaison, I obviously quietly listened to what was going on and started observing how things were going. And yes, it's true they have a budget, and yes, it's true we approve it as commissioners. Unfortunately, the budget is not real world numbers. Real world numbers is what the treasurer deals with on a daily basis. And if nothing else, we, due to loss of funding through our taxes right now, which we've all discussed at length, and I'm sure everybody here knows about it, we deal with the treasurer on an almost daily basis. Every day, the treasurer comes in and we try to figure out day by day how to not go in the red on this. And I hinted last year to the board. I said, you need to bring in a budget that's less. And I was wrong because I didn't realize it was going to be this bad. And there was arguments with me, 30 seconds. I mean, I could go through a whole list here. There's no financial responsibility over there. I found $1,000 the other day in different expenses that were unnecessary. So if we give autonomy to the board, we're going to be hundreds of $1,000s. I mean, we don't even know how this year is going to end. And we're telling everybody to cut back. And there was this total disconnect.
and thank you, Mark, for your comments. I'll figure out how to use my phone here. All right. And the question now goes to Kenny Williams.
I served on a board of directors and even vice chair on the fair board years ago, and we were in charge at that time of putting people on the board ourselves, and we got people with integrity, and I like trusting people, and we had to be cautious because when we would have a fair, sometimes we would have a wad of cash in our hand up to $10,000 that we had to count after an event, and we needed trustworthy people, and we took care of it. We tried to raise enough money from the fair to have $80,000 in the bank when we were done, because it was going to take $80,000 to put on the next fair. And the only time that we really bothered the commissioners when our bathrooms up there wasn't handicap accessible up in the building, and we put pressure on the commissioners, and then they hired a carpenter to come in and make the building, the bathrooms handicap accessible. And Ron Inman helped us out. Tower Rock Stone donated a rock up there. We were really good fair board at that time. And then it kind of drifted away with some people that joined on that I wasn't approved of, so I resigned at that time. But I like having people we can trust and not intervene, and just go into them and say, hey, what's happening here? And we just need to trust people more. I think that would pay off.
Have we all been?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That's it. I
Okay.
cut it 12 seconds short for you there.
So the question now goes to Brent Guy.
Okay. I feel like the board out there does a good job from what I know, and as long as they're taking care of things out there, and I really can't see where all of a sudden there's a big issue. I never have heard what that problem intervened, but I agree with, I mean, I think they're trusting people and, should be left to do their job if all possible without intervening on them. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you then for your comments. Okay, so that concludes the first question that we had in our slate here. We are going to move over and let Bob Nugent address question number 2, be the first one to speak, and then we'll continue across the room and end with Karen Stupi. I would like to let you all know, just in case you're not aware of it, I thought about the fact that you're addressing me, but you don't necessarily need to answer me. You're addressing the public, the audience here that's in the room. You're also addressing the camera mounted right up here, which is going out to both our channel 991 tonight, our local St. Genevieve channel, and it's also being presented on YouTube. So if you care to direct your answers to the audience here, like I say, I'm keeping an eye on the clock, right? So, all right. So question number 2, for all 6 of you, what would you do to try to facilitate Wholesome paying the back taxes which it owes? I'll repeat that. What would you do to try to facilitate Wholesome paying the back taxes it owes? Mr. Nugent, would you care to start, sir?
Actually, I really don't know that, except that I do know that Linda Wagner's taking care of that. And she's been pretty diligent on contacting them and trying to get this thing settled. And I do realize even when it's settled here, it could go back to court on an appeal. I think that the commissioner should have a dialogue with Wholesome's lawyers and with our lawyer, and that we should try to do whatever we can to get them to settle. That's about all I know about that.
Okay, thank you for your answer, sir. The same question now to Corey Ford.
I'm not real familiar with this. It just came, I just became known of it. But it seems to me that the best way to try and get this resolved would be to try to meet with Wholesome and try to resolve a problem with the taxes and see if we can come up with a solution. I'd like to hear what they think that they should be paying, as opposed to what the state says they should be paying. But that's something that I feel we really need, is to get that issue resolved, because that would really help out in this crunch that we're seeing on the sales tax revenue. And that's it.
All right, thank you. The same question to Mark Marber.
Well, you're talking about legal ramifications. There's the way the legal system is. I'm not sure that there's really anything that can be done at this point. Unfortunately, trust me. If there was some magic wand to wave, I would certainly do it. Obviously, the big problem with all of this is more than just Wholesome. It's also all like types of manufacturing are watching this closely. In a sense, this may be considered a pilot case or a test case for what it's doing. So, I mean, we could go settle with them today, but it would be problematic in so many ways to do so. It would be a statewide issue. As far as the county itself specifically, it's really not a massive amount of money for us when it's finished. Yes, it is. Compared to what we have now in a budget, yes, it is. But the school districts are the ones who are hurting the most by this. This is a property tax issue, and we receive very little percentage, 5%. they receive like 75%. So the county leads it because of the assessor, Linda Wagner, which I think she's doing a great job as well as could be done. But it's just, there's not really much to do with it. No, finished.
Finished? All right. Thank you, sir. We'll pass the same question on to Mr. Williams.
Now, Bill, whenever I was the president of the Center for Life Options for Women, we went to Wholesome and presented what we needed. They gave us $10,000 to put down and buy in a building. And later we went back to them and they gave us another $10,000. I really appreciate that company. But the figure that was shared the other night at the meeting that's in escrow is $38,914,552.72. That seems like a tremendous tax burden, even on a company like that. And they didn't indicate if that's been for several years or if that's just 1 year that's owed. But I can see why a company like that for $38 million, almost $39 million, would try to get their tax burden lowered. So I would like to talk with them and see what the situation is and see what is on their mind. But I do appreciate that company because they helped us out real good with the Center for Life. So I don't want to say nothing bad about the company for sure. That's it.
Thank you. Same question to you, Brent, Kyle.
I just feel like Linda Wagner's, I know her and I know she's doing her best and working diligently at, getting that solved. And I don't know, I'm sure they've met with Linda and her group and trying to figure it out. And I mean, they're doing their best, but I'm not that familiar with it. So that's about all I got to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Karen Stupi.
Well, it is a legal issue, and Linda and her legal team are handling it, and it is to go to the State Tax Commission next spring. So that is the process, and we are going to continue with the process as far as the State Tax Commission is concerned, and we will see what happens then and go from there.
All right, thank you. That finishes the second question. 3 to go here. And this will begin with Corey Ford, who can address this question. We all know that county tax revenues, let me start over again, please. We all know that county tax revenues are significantly down the past 2 years. What would you do as commissioner in the short term to address the decreased tax revenues?
Well, for one, I would go to Jeff City and try and get these bills repealed and work hard at that because it's hurting our county. It's not hurting other counties, but I'm focused on this county. And it's hurting our budget. Why this was passed under our noses is just beyond me. And that's what I would do to try and get this repealed. I'm finished.
All right, thank you. Mark Marbury, you have to address that in 2 minutes.
Do you repeat that question?
I sure can. Let me pause my timer. We all know that the county tax revenues are significantly down over the past 2 years. What would you do as commissioner in the short term to address the decreased tax revenues?
Okay, well, right now our attorney is looking into this, and also Rick Francis, our state representative, has pulled the bill. Now, what we've been looking at is the actual statute, but that is not exactly the same thing as the actual bill, and he's trying to verify whether that was, I guess you call it, revised over properly to the actual state statute. But we kind of have to wait on him until he gives us a legal opinion on, I'm sorry, I'm confusing two things. Rick Francis is looking at that. our attorney is also looking at that, and he's looking at weighing possible options, what we can do about it. I can't really get into that at this moment until he gives us basically a legal opinion on what to do about it. There may be an avenues to redress it. We're not sure at this point. Obviously, it should either be repealed or modified. It is hurting more than just us. Counties that have large retail sectors don't seem to be they're not having as big a problem as this, which is more the manufacturing and utilities. I spoke to the treasurer in St. Francis County, and they're up 9% on their sales, their taxes. So we've dropped off, and it's a factor, it's a casualty of leaning heavily on industry as opposed to having a strong retail sector. Go ahead, sorry.
All right. And so, Mr. Williams.
Oh, I think it's going to be essential we draw more businesses in to earn more sales tax. So many places have closed down over the years. We even lost St. Jim Ford, but the wineries, Crown Winery is shut down out there now, and we keep continuous losing businesses. Somehow we've got to draw more businesses in so we can increase the sales tax revenue coming in. Farmington, Perryville, and Festus are doing good because so many of us have to go outside the county to shop if we want to buy what we need. We got a $10 million water park, and you can't buy a swimsuit in St. Genevieve. So that needs to change. And I was talking with a guy the other day who would like to buy a pair of pants in St. Genevieve, and we can't do that. So we got to look into that, see if we can draw people in and make the sales tax improve that way by more businesses. When I bought an excavator, I went to Fenton. They charged me $10,000 sales tax on one machine. Just think if we had a big equipment sales place in St. John, wouldn't that benefit us real good? That's about it, Bill.
All right. Thank you. And Fred Kyle, care to address that questions in 2 minutes, sir?
I agree with Corey and them addressing and repealing that bill that was brought up, because St. John has so much manufacturing of, mining and mineral and stuff. And I mean, 30% tax loss is huge, in a town our size, and bringing in more housing is a big thing, and business to help bring in more tax money, I think, is a big thing also. But that's about all I got.
All right. And Karen Stubbe, your comments, please.
We are working with our state representative and our legal counsel to what our next steps are to address this issue. In the meantime, we are asking our departments to cut back in any way that they can as far as their budgets are concerned. If it's not needed, don't buy it. And just they're making it within their departments, they're making suggestions and trying to approach it in different ways, not hiring staff that in the sheriff's department where there's 2 people that left the department and he's not going to replace them. The county clerk could use another person and she's not going to hire anyone. So within our departments, we are trying to ask them to cut back in the meantime. So we're looking at our budget, seeing how we can cut back due to this lost revenue, but we are working with our state reps and our legal counsel to see what our next step should be.
Okay, thank you. And to you, Bob Nugent.
This Senate Bill 153 and 97 involves mining quarries, and I think there's something in there about fuel tax too. I think that we do need to work on our state rep and our senator to make sure that they realize what they've done. And I just can't, for the life of me, figure out why they would know this ahead of time. And I don't know why our lobbyists up in Jeff City didn't contact us and let us know what was going on. That's something we probably should be calling the lobbyists twice twice a week to make sure that there's nothing coming down the pike that would hurt us. And I would suggest that this Prop S pass. I think that's an excellent idea where we can get more infrastructure for building houses and everything in St. Genevieve. I think that would help considerably. We get more people in, you could have more stores and stuff come in. And lost my train of thought there. Yeah, I guess that's it.
All righty.
Oh, I do have, I think that the people listening to this should get out and call their state rep and call their senator and complain about this. That's it.
All right, sir. Thank you. All right, that concludes answers to question number 3. Moving on to question number 4. And that is this. How do you propose to help the county grow in population and quality of life? I'll repeat that. How do you propose to help the county grow in population and quality of life? We'll start with you, Mark Marbury.
Well, the first thing is we have to free up some property, land. We had our local government town hall the other night, and our mayor, Time, spoke at length about the proposed subdivision going in, which would be facilitated by the passage of Prop S. Is that Prop S? Yeah. Did a brilliant job of it, explaining it. You know, you obviously have to have houses for people to live in. And, you know, that's a really good start to all this. Have to develop, obviously, retail. I'm going to check on something that I heard about, that I was texted about from someone else yesterday. Going tomorrow to check in on possibly adding some retail to the county. I have proposed, and we really haven't gotten into the specifics of that yet, a possibility of putting in an enterprise zone along Highway 32. There's a lot of development like that going in on the other side of the county, on the west side. And if we can capture some of that along 32 or maybe in other places, that helps. You know, our county goes within 4 miles of Farmington county line. So as far as the county's concerned, wherever we get it, we get it. It's good for us. And so there's a lot of different resources that we're looking at and working on to move that up. We also have what they call a site selector on retainer to help us with possibly new industrial or commercial. Yeah, I'm finished.
All right, thank you. Kenny Williams?
Repeat the question, Bill.
Shirley? How do you propose to help the county grow in population and quality of life? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, that would be quite a challenge. One thing that hurt us here in St. John County is the stuff in the flood zone. St. Mary lost quite a bit of housing, and St. Genevieve did because it's in the flood zone and they don't permit building down there anymore. And then whenever someone wants a decent paying job, they need to drive to the city. And some people don't want to drive with the danger on the highway and the fuel price stuff. So it'd be a challenge to get more people to live here. But the main complaint I hear, there's no land available for people. They would, a lot of different people keep asking me, Kenny, is there anywhere I can buy 5 acres or maybe 10 acres somewhere in the country? And it just doesn't seem to be available. That's a challenge too. So I'm not quite sure how, as a commissioner, we could fix that. We're going to have to work together as a whole community to change some of these situations and get them different. But I do know this, whenever someone builds a new house, usually it's on a family property, just like Brent here. He built close to his father-in-law, and I built close to my dad. And the people that's building here, we've got relation here. That's how we can get property. So it's going to be quite a challenge, Bill. So we'll look into that and try to talk with people that might know more than I to see what we can come up with there. But it is quite a challenge. What reason should they want to live in St. John? That's what we got to answer.
Thank you for your comment. Brent, Guy, same question, sir? You have 2 minutes.
I think getting that Prop S pass is a big bonus if that can come through. I talked to Brian about that the other night, and I think it's a good thing. Getting more housing in here is big. I think we need to look into getting more new businesses in here, and a big thing is keeping the community center open, because I think it's vital. And if you lose that, you lose the big place for your youth activities and hang out, and you lose that, people are going to leave because there's not a whole lot for the center. So that's about all I have.
All right, thank you. So we go to Karen Stupi.
Yes, I'm really behind the Prop S also. We definitely need housing in order to have our community grow and our population grow. If we don't have housing, no one's going to move here. Also, I don't know if there's some way that maybe we could work with the city as far as some of these houses that could possibly be rehabbed within the city limits, maybe go after some grants to see if there's houses that can be remodeled in the city limits so that new families can come in and, maybe decent starter homes for them. Also, we're part of the REDI group, which has the whole region that we belong to, 5 region that we work with as far as, industrial sites that are ready and what we have available in our community, the empty buildings that we have that industry can come into. We're also working with Scott Sattler and Associates as a consultant, and he has the information of what buildings are empty within the county and the city limits to try and help us to promote businesses to come in here. So we are working on that, and it's definitely, an issue that we need to address, and we definitely need to work on.
All right, thank you. And Bob Newt, care to address the same question, sir?
Yes, I think that I had mentioned it already. I think that Prop S is an important part of the community, and I think that getting more houses down in St. Genevieve. St. Genevieve is a beautiful place. It's a good place to live, and we need to promote that. And the community center is a big part of that down there. If you get it where they can build houses down there, I think a big draw will be the community center and water park. And so, working with actually, we need to be working with St. Genevieve, with St. Mary's, and with Bloomsdale, all 3 of them for growth. Bloomsdale really has the potential to grow. They're right there on the highway and everything, and they've got a real potential to grow if they were given the chance. And that's about it.
All right. Okay. And so the question goes to you, Corey Ford.
I believe Prop S is a step in the right direction. And if I'm elected, I will search out retailers, and I will work to talk to real estate developers and try and find property, try and work with retailers to bring some kind of more tax revenue into the county. And these people are going to need jobs. And when they come for jobs, you're going to need places to live. So I believe Prop S is a good thing. And nobody wants their taxes raised, but if we're going to keep moving forward, then I believe that Prop S is a good step. Like I said, I'll search out retails and talk to people and try and get some more retailers to come into St. Genevieve and St. Genevieve County and possibly keep, solve this tax revenue problem. That's it.
All right. Thank you. All right, so that concludes our answers to question number 4. So we move on to our last question of the evening, and that is this. What skills, traits, and/or experience will help you successfully address the issues facing our county? I'll repeat that. What skills, traits, and/or experience will help you successfully address the issues facing the county? And we begin with our answers from Kenny Williams.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate the opportunity. I've been part of the family business since I was 16 years old or even younger, on machinery, working on machinery and things like that, and doing excavation, running bulldozers, excavators, and things of that sort. And I also got involved in the community by being a board member on the county fair, and I was in the beginning of the Options for Women Center for Life Pregnancy Center. The chairman of that served for several years and got that established, and with a site in Perryville also. And I'm the coordinator up at church for the men and women's breakfast. That's an outreach breakfast, and we all denominations come together. And I've been the chairman of Republican Central Committee for years. And like I said a while ago, I organized and led the state's largest waste tire collection. And matter of fact, I've got connections to where they were going to shut down the bridge on State Route N from the 5th to the 9th. I made a few phone calls and said, hey, the 6th is election day. Could you keep the bridge open on election day? MoDOT called me and said, Kenny, we talked with the contractor. They'll take the day off. And I was able to get that done. I got the ability to reach out to people and get things done and make things happen. And my family and I saved the rest area. They were going to bulldoze down the rest area and put another weigh scale on the north side. And I made some connections there and got to talk with the board of directors from MoDOT. And we got that rest area saved, not only one in St. John, the one in Jackson. If I knew they was going to put a scale on the other side, I would have fought that one too, but I didn't know it. I'm done, Bill. My 30 seconds are up.
Thank you. Brett, Dial, would you care to address us?
Can you repeat it one
I
time?
sure will. What skills, traits, or experience will help you successfully address the issues facing the county? You have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I believe my previous work experience with MoDOT, and right now I'm working part-time with a special road district here in town, will help me. I've ran loaders, graders, mowers, boom mowers. I mean, I know what they use and I know what they do. I think that'll help. I also think that knowing so many people in St. John County on a personal level will help. A lot of my work is hands-on, and I also feel I have a good work ethic. You know, I've worked hard all my life, blue collar, good common sense, and a fast learner. And that's about all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, Karen Stupy.
Well, I've worked for in county government for 17 years now, and 13 years was in the county clerk's office. I'm familiar with the budgets, the financial statements, the audit process. I also attend a lot of these meetings where we get information on grants, and I bring that back to the county, and we try to go after these grants. So attending those meetings is very, very vital as far as getting grants for the county, that we don't have to use county funds. We can apply for these grants with the help of Michelle Gratzmeyer, who is really a great person, and she's awesome at grant writing and helping us go after these grants. Also, you know, we attend the RPC meetings where we get information about grants and how they can help us to try and go after those grants with the DNR, with DED. So there are a lot of grants out there that you can go after. It's just, you know, you have to attend the meetings and find out the information. I also wrote grants for the Fair Board to for the Muni Band grant and for the tourism grant. So those were 2 grants that I wrote to help out the Fair Board. Also a grant for through a DNR for some picnic tables up there. So I've gone after grants for the liaisons, for the Fair Board, being the liaison, to help them get things up there to improve the fairgrounds. So grants are a big thing for me. I mean, we need to go to the meetings, get the information, and bring it back to the county so we can go after them.
Bob Nugent?
Being, working at Mississippi Lime and being vice president, second vice president of the excuse me. Being second vice president of the union has taught me how to work with with the Mississippi Lime and with the people out there. And I was also safety man out there. And we've had our own business for several years there, selling blinds and everything. So we do know about the businesses and how business operates. I've had extensive experience with political stuff. We worked for the state party, and we also worked for Congressman Gebhardt. And I went out several times and went to different places and stayed a week or two helping campaign and stuff like that. And I believe there may be some things I don't know, but I can learn in a hurry. And I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, and then Corey Ford, would you like to address that question?
No, like Kenny, I grew up in the construction industry. My stepfather had a construction, excavating utility company. I've got a lot of background in utility movement, replacement, new construction. I've had 2 crews at one time working on each side of a multi-million-dollar projects. Sat in weekly meetings and with owners of the companies and the projects, and always as a subcontractor. And all the secretarial work, I've never hired any of that out. I've always done it myself. Project manager, secretary, mechanic, welder. I know all this. I know equipment. I grew up with equipment. And I think that's a vital part of this position. And that's that's the skill set I would bring. Thank you.
Thank you. And so the question goes to you, Mark Marbury.
Excuse me. Commissioner is becoming much more extremely complex a position. You know, and they talk about constructing roads, and I have no doubt about it. Roads are a very vital, important function of the commission, and it's the most visible and most important thing to our constituents, and we take it seriously. But when it comes to hours and time spent, it's actually it sounds awful, but it's a relatively small amount of our time. We deal with the state on a constellation of issues. We deal with other counties. We deal with regulations. You know, every day is different, and it takes a capability of connecting the dots. There's been days when we walk out of there, and all of us, it's just like our head, it just aches. You know, our eyes are tired because you have 4 hours of an intense concentration on a vast amount of different things, just like that, right through and whether it be dealing with the other elected officials and dealing with their concerns. Sometimes they come to us most of the time when something goes wrong, and we have to try to figure out what to do with it, deal with it. And so there's just this massive, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. I think Karen will agree, and I know Randy will agree. It's getting more complicated all the time. And I can relate to those things and work well with those things.
All right. thank you, everyone, for, sure some of those might have been surprises to some of you. So we appreciate your comments, Paul. So that concludes the question part of the evening. We're going to take 2 minutes and 12 seconds per person, with one exception. And I encourage everyone to use your time, these next 2 minutes, to give us your final thoughts of the evening, anything you want to revisit, or anything additional you want us to tell about yourself. Please feel free to do so. And since we started one around the table, let's give this shot to Brent.
Okay. I just want to say I feel that being a lifelong resident of St. John and knowing the people here are vital to this job, and hearing their views on things. And, you know, I also understand there's a lot to learn. And I feel that I'm up to that challenge, and I would be ready to go to work and learn the job and put 100% of my ability into it. And I'd be honored to be your District 2 Commissioner if you'd be able to vote for me. Thank you.
All right, then. And let's go to Karen Stubbe.
Well, I'd just like to address the community center. I'm not against the community center. I voted to use $1.1 million on the community center with ARPA funding to fix the things, the issues that are out there, the new roof, the drain pipes, the painting projects, the parking lot being redone. I am not against the community center. So I just want to get that straight. And as of today, our treasurer, there are financial issues. Between the three funds that they had $95,000 in the water park fund this morning. They were short in two of their other funds by $20,000. They have a balance in all of their funds of $75,000. We have a bond interest payment in October of $152,000. Our treasurer is coming to us on a weekly basis and letting us know where we stand financially. So I just want to put those numbers out there. This is what happened today. There are issues with the finances. Also, I have the experience, the heart, and the drive to continue to represent each one of you. I would be honored to represent each one of you. I love St. Genevieve County. I personally wish to promote, grow, strengthen, and this vibrant community and its people. I would appreciate your vote on August the 6th. I want to continue working on making our roads and bridges better, improving our county properties, promoting economic development within our county. I'm not finished yet. There's a lot more work to do. I want to thank everybody for coming this evening, and I would like to thank City Hall for letting us use this space, St. John Herald for helping out with this, Bill Nagger for being the moderator, and it was a great candidate forum, and I was honored to be a part of it tonight.
All right, thank you. Bob Nugent, your thoughts, sir?
I will admit there is money problems at the community center. So our board, and they didn't create that. For some reason, these bills went through and nobody knew anything about them. And I can't believe that they've got a lobbyist in Jeff City. And why they didn't know this was coming down the pike is beyond me. I mean, did they not communicate with him? I don't understand it. You know, they act like this is the board's fault. And in reality, it's not. It's not the board's fault. It's the legislation's fault. And I don't know what you do about it other than go back to them and try to get it fixed. Most community centers only recover 24.6% of their money, and ours recovers 61%. And I don't see what you can do out there to up the revenue much more than we do, because we use the billing probably 85% of the time. And I mean, the problem is the state legislation is what really messed us up. And I would think that everybody out there should be calling their senator and their state rep and trying to get this straightened out, along with us. And before I'm done, I would like to say that My wife Cynthia and I have been married 53 years. I forgot to say that. And if I don't mention it, I'll probably be in trouble. That's it.
All right, thank you, sir. Corey Ford, your final comments, sir?
Well, like I said before, I've owned and operated a construction business for 20 years. And I know the ins and outs of construction. I know all the secretarial work, budgets. I know how to combat budget shortfalls when they arise. And I would be very proud to have any support that I can get. Thank you.
Thank you. And so closing comments from Mark Marbury.
I want to take a page from Mr. Nugent's book. My wife Norma's here. We've been married so many years, and she's decided whether I was to pursue this or not. That was always the first thing to do, is to ask the boss whether I'm allowed to do this or not, because she has to put up with the issues involved with it. I do want to address this voter guide. My opponent here, whom I've treated with courtesy and respect the best I could while being a commissioner, has saw fit to put in there a rant that is defamation of character and libelous and slanderous. It's sad. He's been running around this county for decades with his own universe consisting of a constellation of delusional ideas and loose-tongued accusations. I didn't want to get into this, but there it is. And he's already lost votes because of it. You know, if something isn't what he wants or the way he likes it, they're automatically vilified, they're unethical, they're crooks, all that stuff. That's not how that works. You have to work with others. Us three commissioners, we all get along fairly well, but sometimes we have differences of opinion. Well, that doesn't make her or him a crook. And, you know, this all started back when this appointment was coming about. And I told him he would not be appointed. You can't get appointed by a governor with a criminal record and several arrests. Let's be honest. I wasn't going to bring this stuff up, but he pushed himself into this. And it's just, I'm just simply the latest villain in a long line of boogeyman standing in the way of what he states that he deserves. And it's sad. It's just a sad mess.
Okay, I stop you there, sir. All right, and Kenny Williams.
So he said he was going to try to destroy me tonight at this meeting, but I'm not going to go there. I want to tell you this. My first date with my wife, we went to Pizza Hut, and Pizza Hut's gone. We had 2 bowling alleys. We had a Taco Bell. We had a Kentucky Fried Chicken. We had a Huddle House. We had a steakhouse. We had 3 car dealerships. I'm the right person for St. Genevieve. Let's restore St. Genevieve. Prop S is a real good start, but somehow we've got to draw these businesses back into St. Genevieve, and we've got to make St. Genevieve an attractive place. I do know this, talking with people around the community, a lot of them are drawn in by our restaurants and even by Dairy Queen. I spoke with a fellow out there. Oh, I'm not from around here, but we stop by Dairy Queen every time we go through. So we do have one plus, and our community is really good food. And I think I'll check one of them places out after a while. But my wife and I have been married 47 years. She's going to retire in 2 days. She works nights, and it's going to be different for me, her being at the house every night, but I will adjust. She's a wonderful lady, and I sure appreciate her. But I have the ability to work with people opposite to what my opponent says. What I put in there is absolute truth. And if anybody wants to question me at a different time on this, it would be great. But here's not the time. And I do appreciate everybody being here, appreciate it being on TV. And I think I can make a difference in St. Gen. I've got the ability to get things done. Vote for Kenny Williams on August the 6th. Thank you all.
All right, and with that concludes our program this evening. I want to thank all 6 of our panelists here for being here this evening and sharing your thoughts with us, answering our questions. Appreciate that. I want to thank our audience here with us and at home viewing this at home. So with that, I'm Bill Nager. Don't forget to get out and vote next week in the primaries, August the 6th, and again in November. I believe that date is November the 5th. So good night, everybody, and thank you for being here.